Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Good morning once again, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. What a bright day, I must say. It's been some time of rainfall, but well, here we are again, and of course, no need to worry, but always make it a date with us and you kickstart your day with us. Good Morning Uganda, because there you not only get to know what is happening globally and also locally and have some moments of laughter, but Molin is always there to let you know what the weather is going to be like. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. Welcome to this extension of Good Morning Uganda, which is Good Morning Uganda Extra. And today I'm going to be discussing something very important, not only for Uganda, but it's a global event. Guess what that is? It happens on the 3rd of June, every 3rd of June. And while I was checking with the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Antiquities, one thing I learned there is it has been gazetted as the biggest tourism activity in Uganda. That one day, 3rd June, in Namugongo, gazetted. It's the biggest event we have as a country, where we have very many guests. And interesting, every year the numbers keep growing. We are going to be discussing 3rd June, which is the Uganda Matters Day. And with me on set, I have someone from the Anglican Church. Remember, we had Catholics and Protestant. Of recent, even our brothers, the Muslims, say they were also a number of Muslims who are martyred because of their faith. But for the Anglican side, they were 23 in number. And recently we saw a museum being built there, modern state-of-art museum built there. And of course, they try to bring you and tell stories of what happened there. Because they were killed due to their faith. They refused to denounce their faith. But today we just want to look at the organization of what it's going to be. A later day we'll look at the faith element. But today it is the organization of 3rd June this year from the Anglican Church perspective. Join me, welcome Kasambeko Rogers, Peterson Nabongo, who happens quite long, who happens to be, that is the publicity committee chairperson of this year's Namugongo 3rd June Matters Day celebrations. He is from the province of the Church of Uganda, Namirembe, and he is a provincial kingdom development organ member there. You're most welcome to the show, and thank you for finding time to be with me this morning.
Wow, it is indeed a great day that the Lord has made, and I'm so grateful that at least I'm part of the people who are witnessing or who are part of the organizations of this year's 3rd June Namugongo celebrations. You know, we call them celebrations because of the brevity they took.
Yes.
But being a person, first of all, an Anglican, and working from the province, let me take this great honor to convey the greetings of His Grace, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. When people hear the word province, the word province constitutes 37 dioceses. And actually this year we are going to have another extra 2 dioceses to make them 39. When we speak about 37 dioceses, we mean those are 37 bishops plus 1. Because Kampala Diocese has 2 bishops. The Archbishop, who is the Bishop of Kampala, and then the Assistant Bishop, that is Bishop Huntington Mutebi. But speaking from the perspective also of the province, where I had a program called KIDO, which means Kingdom Development Organ, this year, 3rd June, according to the Provincial Assembly, 3rd June is organized in clusters. That 3rd June Namugongo is organized in clusters. You saw last year, it was the Ankole Diocese that organized the Namugongo celebrations. This year it is the Eastern Cluster And when we talk about the Eastern Cluster, we are actually meaning 10 dioceses coming together, which is actually in tandem with this year's theme, which comes from the book of Ephesians chapter 4, verses 11 to 16. We are united for sustainable, united in service for sustainable growth. So as the Eastern Cluster, this is a great privilege for us to organize this year's Namugongo celebrations. The cluster chairperson is the Right Reverend Bogere Egesa, the Bishop of Bukedi Diocese. Actually, the rightful way would be the Bishop of the Diocese of Bukedi. There is a difference. I always see people mingling out the pronunciations, the way how the Church of Uganda pronounces its diocese. If you're speaking about the Diocese of Bukedi, some other people call it Bukedi Diocese. So the right pronunciation is the Diocese of Bukedi. So we have 10 dioceses together, where the cluster chairperson is the Right Reverend Bogere Egesa. Then we also have the Central Executive Chairperson, and that committee is headed by the Right Honorable Rebecca Aitwala Kadaga. So those are the leaders that God has entrusted at such a time to take us through these celebrations. But also, 3rd June is an annual event. It is an event, as you just said, that brings together people. But this time around, they're not coming together just for fun, but they're coming because of the faith. That one day, one time, actually some years ago, back then in 1886, a decision was made. Okay, so it was a directive that was made. And these young men by then were still young. Even the Kawakamanga was still young. Actually, history says that he was around 37 years. But of course, because of the faith, there are days when the faith outweighs directives. So because of what they believed in, they gave their lives. They were not afraid of death. And they knew that when they die in Christ, one day they will resurrect in Christ. So that was the motive. So when we come to Namugongo, we don't come to celebrate. We are also trying to build up the faith. What is it that caused these men not even to fear death? When we read the Bible, we see incidences in the Bible where men like Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego were not afraid of even being thrown into the dungeon of fire, I mean, into the fire. Lion's den, and then Daniel was not afraid of being thrown into the lion's den. So what is that keeps these people together? So when we come to Namugongo, it is more than a celebration. It is a reignition of the faith and also an affirmation of the scriptures that indeed there is a time when a person reaches to and is not even afraid of death. So we as the Eastern Cluster, as I said before, we are 10 dioceses. When we talk about the Eastern Cluster, we begin from the bridge. That is, when you start from the bridge, that is Jinja. That's the Diocese of Busoga. When you proceed to Iganga, we have the Diocese of Central Busoga. So those are 2 dioceses within the Busoga region, sub-region. Then when you go to Tororo, you will find there the Diocese of Bukedi. In Busoga Diocese, the bishop is the Right Reverend Naimane. Then Central Busoga, that is the Right Reverend Patrick Wakula. All those dioceses have significant futures, starting from their inception, when they were created as dioceses, and then even currently the activities that they are doing. When you go to Bukedi, it also has a very rich story. When you're talking about the story of Bishop Huntington, yes, you also trace it. But of course, it starts from Mayuge, in a place called, I think it is called, I'm forgetting the name of the place, but it starts from Mayuge. Then you proceed up to Busia. There's a place called Budimo, where he was actually, there's even a very big tree. When he was killed, still by the directives, you know, my brothers, the Uganda always make fun that the statement was Mumute, but they were so interpreted it as Mumuite. So, but it is fun, but at the end of the day, the point there is that he was killed brutally. So when he was killed, the body was carried as it was being taken back by his friend, the king, the side of Kenya. They rested at a tree in Ibudimo, and it's a significant site. Then when we cross and come to Mbale, we have the 2 dioceses out of Mbale. There is Mbale and North Mbale. Then when you go up to the side of Sebei land, we have the Diocese of Sebei. When you cross over and you come to our brothers in Teso, we have the Diocese of Kumi and the Diocese of Soroti, and then you close it up with the two dioceses in the Karamoja region, or sub-region, where we have the Diocese of Karamoja in Moroto and North Karamoja in Kotido. So all those 10
So
dioceses...
that makes it 10 dioceses.
That makes it 10 dioceses. So all those 10 dioceses. And even the other thing that is significant is that the dean of the cathedral, or the dean of the province, at the province we have the archbishop, and then we also have the dean of the province, who happens to be the most experienced bishop among his brother bishops. So he becomes the dean, and the dean of the province is from the Diocese of Karamoja. So we have all those key highlights. Recently, we were doing something so significant. When we came to 3rd June, we began asking ourselves, what is that unique factor this time around? We realized that all these dioceses have something that even the country, some people have not even gotten to know about. I will speak about Chando, the one in Mayuge, the one I was trying to remember, Chando, where Bishop Huntington was killed. People don't even know that actually Bishop Harrington had a cave where he used to sleep, a cave, and he also had a library, still a cave. So when you go there, you would wonder, it is the huge stones. That's why he used to sleep. And the question is, all for what? That is always a question that we keep on asking, all for what? It is for the sake of the gospel. So when we talk about 3rd June, it goes beyond what a layperson can possibly try to comprehend. So for us this year as the Eastern Cluster, we are trying to bring those events live again. I'll give you an example. When Bishop Huntington was stoned and brutally killed, when you go to Chando, you will actually find a structure which was put there at a place where he was killed. The government helped us, and they put up a very good site. Okay. And I think it is a very good site for even the tourists when they come here, when they're looking for matters. But also be informed that Bishop Huntington was actually not the first one to be killed. We have people like Debali Kudembe, who were killed, I think, in 1885. Because when the Mutesa one died in 1884 around November, Kabaka Mwanga comes on. He first kills the other three. Then also Bishop Huntington is martyred with, of course, a directive that was made. But when it was done, I think there was a kind of discomfort, wondering how you would kill a servant of the Lord. Now these 23 young men also come on board, and they're also killed. Now when they were killed, the story of Bishop Huntington, there were some brave men who were actually brought to carry his body back to England. But this time around, when they were carrying the body, going through Busia, when they reached there, hyenas were everywhere. So they had to climb on top of the tree, put his body there for 3 days. So when we reached at that point, you would really see the strength of the faith. They have put up a theological school named after him. They've come up with so many developments. But when you look at all these ones, whoever sees that, they are now then strengthened in the word. Because when you read the matters of the Bible, you may not think that these things can also happen in our day-to-day life.
I like that comparison. Now, Rogers, yes. Let me take that among
all the few names.
Among all the few names that you've given me here. To a person watching us, this is very rich history. Spiritually, it is very touching and transforming if someone chooses to understand it. Very honest. We have people that come to Namugongo because of understanding its relevancy, and they come to renew their strength, to factor in and tell these people could die for their faith. We have those that come for tourism activity.
Exactly.
Who are you to be in Uganda and you've never been at Namugongo on the 3rd of June? Then you have those that come in under diplomacy. Diplomats, His Excellency may pass by, ministers may be there, whether they understand, they have to be there. Then you have those from religious and other aspects. Now, their interest today is how different is this year's Namugongo, 3rd June, going to be in terms of preparation, and what should we expect?
Okay. Wow. You've always, maybe, I know you're in the media, you've always been hearing about Church of Uganda, the Anglican Site Museum. You've also been hearing about the amphitheater. Of late, 3rd June has been, we've been celebrating it in tents. But this time around, the amphitheater is now ready to be utilized.
Wow.
It is going to accommodate 20,000 members. The other side of the VIPs are going to be 3,000. The amphitheater has been fully installed, and so for the first time, the celebrations are going to be held at the amphitheater. So that is a very strong or a very great success towards the preparations of the 3rd June Namugongo. The other thing is that the 10 dioceses coming together, we are talking about more than 50 districts coming together, different languages, extremely diverse, but united in faith. When a person from the Karamoja sub-region speaks, the one of Busoga will think the person is speaking in tongues. When a person from Bugisu speaks, it is the same thing. It will be like the Tower of Babel. But this time around, because of the faith, unity has been built, and the 10 bishops have come together, the 10 dioceses, together with the 10 dioceses, to organize this event. Actually, it is going to be the biggest. When you looked at Ankole, there were around 5 dioceses. When you looked at Chigezi, there were also around, I think, 2, if not 3. But if you look, you came to the eastern cluster, stretching all the way from the Nile at the bridge up to Karamoja. That is also something very significant. When you look at the activities that we are going to do, starting with this very week on Saturday, on the 27th of May, we are going to have a children's event. All kids across the country have been invited to come for around 3 activities. The first one, there's going to be a pilgrimage from Namugongo to Chaliwajala. It's just going to be a 2-kilometer walk. It is symbolic in nature because the matters were not driven, or they never rode horses. It was a walk. Some of them actually were just pulled through their backs. So it is symbolic in that context. So the children have been invited to come for the for that children's event. All types of games, face painting, bouncing castles have also been put in place. All those things have been put there for free. And then it's only those that are going to go who would want to have to go and visit or tour the museum that will be required to pay 30,000 shillings. But all the activities, the fun are all given to them, and they're going to be also exposed to different speakers. And we are talking about children from the age of 18 to 17. So you can tell that entire group has been invited to be part
17 to 18?
No, from 7.
Okay, right.
To 17. So then the other thing, when the second day, that will be now Saturday, then on Sunday we shall have the youth ministry. It is always said that the next generation is always the generation for the youth. I'm wondering when it will reach, but I think every generation is a generation of the youth. So the youth ministry will also take over, and we are also inviting all these dioceses are mobilizing their members to be part of it. The unique factor also in this year's 3rd June celebration is that every diocese out of the 10 will mobilize a choir of 40. So you're going to see a choir of 400 members, all standing and worshiping the Lord.
Wow.
400, and those are different tribes. So the choir of 400, every diocese giving you 40-40, they're also going to be paraded there. When we speak about the youth ministry, there are several activities. The province is directly in line with the Eastern Cluster committee that is handling the issue of ministry. The other thing is that after the 27th, yes, after the 28th, we shall go to the on Monday. I think that will be 29th. Now, from Monday 29th, that whole week up to 3rd June, we are going to be having a science exhibition. It's a skilling week. So those who are coming to celebrate the matters, they are also going to be impacted with basic skills to become entrepreneurs or to become job creators. They are going to be given basic business mentorship sessions for them to at least to go around with. So this time around, they're not just going to come and leave. The Ministry of Science and Technology has offered us a full week of skilling. That is extremely important. So there is going to be that opportunity of individuals getting to understand the different business opportunities. So they will come for faith, but they will go back with what will enable the scriptures to come to pass, that the Lord will bless the works of your hands. Amen. So we want to empower them so that when they go back, they put it into practice and the Lord then does the multiplication. So to me, I see that as a very, very significant and great opportunity for those ones who are coming to Namugongo. And all these activities are actually free. We're not going to charge anyone. So we are calling upon the whole country to come. For us, we're expecting not less than 400,000 members to attend. So out of the 400, if God, by the grace of God, you are among those ones who are going to be skilled. These are some of these programs will be, these are scarce programs anyway. So if you come and you're trained at a free cost, the only cost you have to put in is your availability. But the experts, all the knowledge is going to be given to you. So we thank God for now this year, that entire week up to 3rd June. The other thing is that now after that, then we are going to have a very wonderful session. You know, when we talk about Church of Uganda, one of the most organized groups is the group of Mothers Union. Those ones will be on the 2nd. But then on 1st, we shall have the Fathers Union and the Christian Men Fellowship. That will be their day. Then on the 2nd, it is going to be the Mothers Union and Christian Women Fellowship. They will be having their sessions, and then we close it up with an overnight. That overnight will usher us onto the D-Day, that is 3rd June. So those are the activities that we have.
Well, so much lined up there for you regarding these year's Matters Day celebrations at Namugongo, 3rd June. We are still in the manifesto week, and definitely I have to go to the office of the Prime Minister, where government, through the NRM government, is being accountable, producing how far they have gone as far as implementation of the manifesto. I remember it was in 2021 when they came to us with a document committing themselves that if you elect us in power, this is what we are going to do. The theme was securing your future, focusing on job creation and wealth inclusion for everybody. Therefore, allow me let my guest go and hand over to the office of the Prime Minister, where the manifesto week is going on. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
Most welcome.
December 2024. Current works ongoing. Please move to the next slide. As we